Hello, this is Alistair Ditaku, and this is Creepypasta Theatre. We, along with my co-host there, Sir Sneksworth von Gibblestump, we are going to present to you today the most okayest of all creepypastas. If you were to think to yourself, Sir Alistair Ditaku, are you going to talk about the Godzilla Haunted NES creepypasta? No, we already discussed that one. In fact, that's far too good for what we are going to discuss here. In fact, much like the Limbo, we are going to have to go far, far, far down. And with that, I take it to Sir Sneksworth von Himmelstump. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. This is the Hipster Snek, today joined by my good buddy Alistair Ditaku, and we are going to be celebrating Alistair Juan Flamenco Diego Garcia Shapiro Ditaku.
I'm Jewish now.
You're Mexican, Jewish, and British, apparently. And today, for the creepy month of October, we are going to talk about Creepypasta, an internet standby and long-standing but not necessarily well-reviewed medium. What replaced the campfire story ostensibly became the internet's version of poorly written, hyper-realistic, blood-chugging mediocrity.
I just gotta say, I really hate this creepypasta website that they are putting this on. It's just nothing but ads.
Oh, I use a browser that just kind of blocks all that by default. Sorry, like this is the only thing I can think to use. A lot of the Creepypasta wiki doesn't exist anymore, and some of these aren't listed on there anymore because they were moved to the Crappypasta wiki, and there's like a weird edit war between them, and I have not been keeping up with all that for the past 15 years. I can't. I don't have it in me. Creepypasta is kind of a storied internet tradition. Even if you're not a fan, most of the time you're at least internet savvy enough to know what they are. And what they are is, for the most part, really bad. There's a few standouts. There's some really good ones. Like we mentioned, the Godzilla Haunted NES cartridge is fantastic. The art alone is worth price of admission. I find the story very compelling. But today, for Creepy Month, we're going to look at some famous creepypasta. They are famous and in some cases infamous. They're well known, but maybe not the best written. We are going to read through them together with you and discuss them and dissect them as we go. This will be a little bit of a literary critique of sorts. So I hope you guys enjoy. Prop your feet up, grab yourself some popcorn, and make yourselves comfortable as we delve into these 5 stories and a few that we'll discuss at the tail end of things. So to kick you off, I, the Hipster Snek, will read aloud for your elucidation the timeless classic that is Sonic.exe. Probably the best known Sonic creepypasta written by JC the Hyena. And I feel, in the interest of fairness, it is important to point out that the author was pretty young when they wrote this story. Like, I think young teens, like 13, 14, maybe at oldest. So the story has issues, but we'll get into that as we go. Sonic.exe. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. Okay, so this is important. We have established the lore. Literally every single human on Earth is a Sonic the Hedgehog fan. There is no one on Earth who is not. And this JC the Hyena has established that for
Clearly, what has happened is this is the same world as in Castlevania, and what they did was in the 1999 war, when Sonic Adventure came out, they banished all the haters to Cat Food Mountain on the moon.
Oh, of course. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. Yeah, see, this is a thing. I hate to interrupt every single sentence, but I need to. Like, every single gaming creepypasta has to have like this hipster, this like hipster chic check at the start of their stories.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Question.
Yeah.
This came out like what, 2011?
Something like that. I seem to recall that he mentions Heroes.
What would the most recent Sonic game have been at that point?
In the second paragraph, he mentions Sonic Unleashed. So I'm gonna say probably it would be Unleashed or Colors, I believe. So we would be
It's
like in
not bad.
the we'd be like in the Wii S 360 console generation at this point. So like that's our timetable of events. Yeah, like almost all these gaming creepypastas have to start with this, like, I don't play the new games, I'm a retro gamer. Like every single one. It's so weird. Like, why is every creepypasta author a Gen 1er? Like, why?
Okay, for the record, my creepypasta, Mr. Crockett is not like that at all. So not
That's true.
every creepypasta.
That's true. Hashtag not all creepypasta. So now we know.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. If you've played Sonic the Hedgehog games, you definitely played glitchy games. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was about to say, you've died to several glitches in our own playthroughs.
Yeah. Glitches are just part and parcel of the Sonic experience. I don't know what else to tell you. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I liked how you get to explore the towns in it, until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual and left. That was one sentence. Good grief. That was a comma splice and a run-on sentence if ever I've seen one in class. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail.
2, 3, 4, 5. According to the way it's formatted, that's 5 lines.
Yes.
That is one heck of a sentence.
Yeah,
literally this paragraph is 2 sentences.
Yeah. And I also think it's really interesting that the mailman arriving is, for some reason, treated as this, like, milestone event that requires immediate answer.
Mail's here!
I check my mail, like, once a month at this point. Good grief.
This is in the far-off year of 2011 there, Snek.
No, that's true. Maybe back then you actually got stuff that wasn't bills and ads and spam.
Well, bear in mind, this kid is also, like, literally 12, so,
Yeah.
He hasn't,
I paused my game to see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox, capitalized for some reason, was a CD case for computers and a note, as opposed to those CD cases that are not for computers.
I assume he means a jewel case.
I assume.
Like an actual case for a compact disc.
Yeah, I assume that's what he's trying to convey there. That's just a little bit, that's strange wording is all. I took it inside. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. Okay, let's just call him Kyle. Dear friend Kyle, whom I haven't heard from in 2 weeks.
Should have been like something. I just feel like he should have had a comma after dear friend, comma, Kyle.
Yeah, and yeah, does anyone actually refer to their friends as like, oh, my dear friend or my old friend? Like, people don't actually talk like that in real life.
I mean, I would say something about you and I, but we're weirdos.
We are definitely not the norm. Let's be clear here. It could be, oh, my bro, or my buddy, or my pal.
My dear friend.
My dear friend, Asthmatic RFK Jr.
Are you trying to be an NPC in the Swery 65 game? Yes.
I am, in fact. Whom I hadn't heard from.
I haven't heard of him in 2 whole weeks.
Even though the bros can go, months at a time and still just like, oh, hey, just check to see if you're alive. Lol, I was in hell. I know that because I recognized his handwriting, though. What was weird is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. That is one sentence again. Oh my god.
This is what he wrote. Advertisements.
Advertisements, yes. Like,
this letter is brought to you by Raid Shadows.
Raid God Shadows Game VPN. Like, the thing here is like, oh, I recognize Kyle's handwriting, but it was scratchy and difficult to read. It's like, is that normally how Kyle's handwriting is? Like, does Kyle have
Maybe
really bad penmanship?
Maybe Kyle is a medical student.
Oh, that explains everything then. That would be why. He's like, oh yeah, the handwriting was complete chicken scratch, so I knew right away it was Kyle. That would check out.
Tom, I can't take it anymore. I have evidence that'll get the Clintons prosecuted.
Oof.
I am very depressed.
No, please, there's enough dirt on the Clintons to bury a bunker. Let's get real here. Can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late. And I was hoping you'd do it for me. Okay. I can't do it. He's after me. And if you don't destroy the CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Wouldn't it be faster to break the CD than it would be to write out several sentences of text by hand? This wasn't typed. He said it was written.
And here's the thing. If he's so fast, why are you sending it over the United States Postal Service?
The mail.
Which is known for being infamously slow.
Slow and unreliable. Like, what if the CD had gotten lost in the mail? Like, don't you guys live in the same town? Wouldn't, like, going to your friend's house, like, dude, I need your help. Help me break this thing. And we're guys. We'd be like, yeah, I'll help you break stuff. That sounds great. Let's do it. Like, he really wouldn't even need more information than that. So, like...
Say less. Let's break it over beers. Kyle, Tom, we're literally 12. Say less. We'll do it over beers anyway.
Yeah, okay. So, like, woo! Writing this note and sending it USPS was apparently more reliable than just doing it himself. Like if the context was, you have to beat this game in order to save me, that would actually make more sense. But he's just saying, don't play it, break it. But for some reason, Tom couldn't do that? Because he's too fast for him?
I mean, I get what he's trying to say. This is literally, evil Sonic is after me from the game. But at the same time, though, I feel like we are concocting a better, funnier,
more interesting story. Destroy the disc, and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please, Helicopter Man. Kyle. Oh, that certainly was weird. Yeah, Tom, it definitely was weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. Bro, dude, come on. I didn't think a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Foreshadowing. Anyway, I looked at the disc, and it looks like any, present tense, looks like any ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had black marker on it written Sonic.exe, and it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from someone else, like a pawn shop or eBay. If I took a red pen and marked every way this sentence could have been rewritten to be shorter and make more sense... you would have an F, Tom. You would have an F. like the thing that got me, like I couldn't even parse it at first, was like it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting. Like it just say it wasn't Kyle's handwriting, and someone had written Sonic.exe on the CD in black marker. Boom. Dude, chill.
I'm a big Sonic fan. I'm a big boy.
When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD. Okay, why did you phrase it like that? Okay. I'm gonna let it go. I was actually excited and
When I
wanted to
saw
play it.
he could, all right. The writer in me is like, this is understandable. First off, this is supposed to be a young kid. Secondly, he has already established he's a huge Sonic fan. He is a Sonic fan amongst fans, okay?
Yes.
We have already established everyone in this world is a Sonic fan, but he is a fan even then.
Yes.
So, yeah, of course he's going to get excited. So as soon as he sees Sonic, I got excited.
Wanted to play it since I'm a big Sonic fan. Well, maybe you should be a Sonic Big fan because Big the Cat is best boy.
You know what they could have just said. You know what they could have done.
What's that?
Here's how I would have done this. All right.
Right.
When I saw Sonic on the writing, when I saw Sonic inscribed, I was actually very excited. Period. That's it. You don't need that other bit. Because if you're excited, it's understood that you're a big fan.
Yeah.
Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's okay to understand things and you don't need to just outright say them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Audience memory is a thing.
If in this instance we get that Tom is a big fan of Sonic, because as soon as he sees Sonic, he gets excited. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Checks out.
So yeah.
I went up to my room.
We're being positive. We are trying to establish this to be a better creepypasta.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's try to fix these, yes. I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. When the title screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome, because like I said earlier, I liked the classics. Now we're back to past tense. Which is kind of funny, is like the PC ports are like notorious for being the worst versions of most of the classic Sonic games. Like I actually had Sonic 3 and Knuckles on PC, and everyone's like, this is the worst version of the soundtrack. And I'm like, oh, come on, how bad could it be? And then I listened, and I'm like, oh my god, no, I did have the inferior version. Holy crap.
You know what? Maybe this is like a port of a emulated, like, Mega Drive, version of the game.
Possible.
Which, I mean, honestly, most ports, if you, like, went on Steam or whatever, most of those are just literally emulated anyway, so...
Yeah, that is true. And again, he's kind of...
You could have said... Yeah, he was reiterating a lot. It's like, for me, what I would have done is when the title screen popped up and when I saw that it was the first Sonic game from the title screen, I got excited. Or, awesome, this is the first Sonic game. I know this because of the title screen, I thought to myself.
Yeah.
Something like that. There's a much easier way that you could have written that. There's a few different ways you could have said that. You did this entire, because like I said earlier, that is entirely superfluous.
Yeah, it is. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was
welcome to English lessons class with that was Dirty Jack.
The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start. There's was a split second when I saw the title image turned into something much different.
Okay, this is important. This is important distinction, ladies and gentlemen. Theirs was. You have to understand the way that is. That means theirs was. It can be replaced with there is was. You cannot have there is was, because is and was are the same verb in different conjugations.
Yeah, you're changing it from present to past tense, which you can't do in the same context of a sentence unless you're a time traveler, which is not what this story is about.
That would be really cool. Actually, oh, I just had a crazy thought, Professor.
Do tell.
What if Sonic.exe, it literally is the curse, is happening. It happened to Kyle in the future, and then he sent the package back in the past in order to ensure, because Sonic.exe got Kyle in the future. But he's like, it's too late for you, Sonic.exe. You already sent it to the past. There's no way you can go back there. There's no way. See about that, Kyle. No, you're gonna get Tom, my best friend. We'll see about that. And so it is. He's trying to stop the evil future.
Oh, of course. Yes, obviously that's what's happening here. There's was a
we are writing a way better creepypasta already. I remember Cybershell actually. He's kind of a big Sonic tuber.
Right.
He did a takedown of the story, and he was not kind on us. He's like, I don't understand why people like this. This is absolute garbage. And I was like, yeah, and well, you know me. I'm like, well, it's Sonic. You know,
Sonic fans are weird. There are legit Sonic fans who to this day will try to defend Sonic Underground just because Sonic is in it. Like, I don't even know what to tell you.
For the life of me, I have never seen it apart from some of the beam images, like Sonic trying to save Knuckles, and Knuckles just like looks like he's looking up to like, God, please take me now. At which point Sonic proceeds to like non-Euclideanly reach down and like grab him out of the foreground from the background and be like, and move him like what looks like 30 feet because the perspective is all screwed up.
Yeah. That show was bad, but people will defend it. Like, there was a Kickstarter a couple years ago where a guy tried to raise funding to make a second season of that garbage. It's like, it failed. It failed, obviously, because the guy had no actual like plans on how to get the licensing rights. But like,
why though?
I can't even tell you. Sonic fans are weird, man. The first thing I noticed.
I know that already because I mean, there's many people who defend the IDW comics, and I just for the life of me can't understand that. But that's neither here nor there. Sorry.
Fair.
Please continue.
So, the first thing I noticed that was out of place when I pressed start, theirs was a split second when I saw the title image turned into something much different, something that I now consider horrifying before cutting to black. Okay, first off, that was a really difficult sentence to even read. Second, I want you guys to remember this bit because this stuck out to me as I was like remembering this pasta before I was even reading it. He says he sees this in a split second before it cuts to black. He says, I remember what the image looked like in that split second before the game cut to black, which he just completely repeated. Okay. The sky had darkened. The title emblem was rusted and ruined. And the Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666. And the water had turned red like blood, except it looked hyper-realistic.
I didn't realize we were playing 7th Dragon 1.
So, like, this is a thing, and like this was really common that you would see a lot where like they kept invoking hyper-realism. Now, here's like for people who don't even know, hyper-realism is an art style where you're using a format that is definitely on its own fictitious or like depicting something fictitious and detailing and expressing it in a way that it looks like it comes out of the real world. And for some reason, like, at least a handful of the creepypastas we're going to read today talk about hyperrealism. And, like, oh my god, it was everywhere.
They probably think that it means hyper as in, like, extremely or very, superlatively realistic rather than it being a actual thing, a unique thing. Godzilla NES actually does this, where at the very end, where when he reaches Zenith, I want to say,
right,
where he actually starts like encountering basically like raw sausage monsters, which I mean, when contrasted to the actual NES cartridges, they stand out. They're kind of grotesque. But that's the point. It's literally these raw meat monsters that are attacking Godzilla.
Yeah.
So in that instance, I think it makes sense. But here, I don't think that it is. And I mean, on top of that, it's like, really? 666, really?
Like this is
Wow,
trying so hard to embrace that like edge. God, you know the one that it reminded me of was the frickin' Mickey Mouse creepypasta, the one with the name I can't even say. So I think that actually touches on it as well. Abandoned by Disney and moved to Brazil Mouse. Yeah, like these are not exactly as bad, but they use a lot of the same kind of like imagery, and like a lot of old creepypastas hinged really heavily on that like OMG Satanisms, and it's like 666 is the number of Caesar Nero. And if you've been on my channel for long enough, you should know that already.
Yes, every single letter in Latin had a numerical value attached to it. NRN, QSR, literally Nero Kaiser, is 616, which is actually what it's supposed to be. And the reason for that is because if you are aware of what was going on in Judea at that time, Nero was not very popular with the Jewish people. So it's kind of understandable that, a religion later that arose out of Judaism, like Christianity, would consider this foreign tyrant who fancies himself a god to basically be the incarnation of the devil.
Yep.
Just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't have time. We don't have time for discussion of apocalyptic literature today.
We've got a ways to go. So
we could have an entire dissertation on that alone.
We could,
but we're
but it gets better. It gets better because the freakiest thing that was in that split-second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with two glowing red dots staring right at me, all caps. And his face had stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, though I figured that it was just a glitch and forgot about it.
I see. So we are playing Sonic Adventure then.
So
what are you talking?
With his face stretched, yeah. Like, let's not ignore the simple fact that in the original Sonic 1 title screen, Sonic is in fact looking at the player. Like, that's by design. Like, why is that so alarming? Like, he's already doing that by default.
He's looking at the player. He's smirking and waggling his finger like he does.
Like he always does that. Nothing is really like different apart from black and red instead of white and black.
You are now Sonic.exe, except it's just really smug.
really smug Sonic.exe.
He just comes by to be smug at you.
Why are you so smug?
You're too slow.
Why are you so smug?
I now understand why Eggman hates you. Why Eggman hates you.
After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so, and then another weird thing happened. The save file select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, WTF? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was the dark, cloudy sky of the Bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD, and there were only 3 save files.
Professor, this is wild.
What's that?
I was literally just listening to, not kidding, just before we started recording, I was listening to a Stardust Speedway X Shock Attack Walk the Walk mashup.
So what's actually... Okay.
So, no, just for those of you who aren't aware, Shock Attack's Walk the Walk, I believe I'm saying that right. That literally is where the melody for Stardust Speedway's tune comes from. You play them one after another, and you'll be like, oh yeah.
This actually, like, this reference actually kind of requires a little bit of an explanation. Like, in Sonic CD, there was past and future states of every level in addition to the current present, and there was a bad future version and a good future version. And like the bad future versions usually had like a more downplayed soundtrack, and the future was typically, like, if it was a good future, it was a little more cheery and a little more like the present day version. So, like, he doesn't
Yes.
really explain that. He just calls it the bad Stardust Speedway level, and I'm like, it
Which,
sounds like an indictment of quality rather than like a level condition.
yeah, it's for the record also, because the fact that Sega is completely and honestly has always been kind of, trying to do a, destroy our own country, destroy our own company percent any run, and the fact that they can't even get their music to their own, games licensed. Uh, Basically, the American version of Sonic CD is completely different, is much more like much more foreboding. Basically, in the Japanese version, the entire thing is like very upbeat and very like 90s dance oriented.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds um I mean, it sounds like contemporaneous like dance music of the time, but
Yeah.
like the Macarena or stuff like that, like 90s dance music basically. And so, the entire like, Fun is Infinite by Majin, where it's literally just the weird Sonic face and
Yeah.
the boss music, and everyone's like, oh my God, it's satanic. It's supposed to be something really goofy.
It's a
Because
goofy meme.
if you listen to the Japanese boss music, it literally is just, Sonic getting pumped up,
Yeah.
where, Eggman's yelling at Metal Sonic to, kick the crap out of him.
So, like, this
It's
really is hinged. Like, a lot of video game creepypastas are guilty of this, where they assume that you've played the game before, or at least familiar with the franchise. So, like, he's kind of throwing out a lot of references one after another without much regard for, like, people who don't know what he's talking about. The music was that creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound. So, like, they're throwing in a completely different console and franchise into the mix. Only it
Wow,
was
so this is going to be completely different because the Mega Drive had a completely different chip tune. So
yeah. Only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse. How did you know what song it was hearing it in reverse? What kind of weird eagle ear do you have? Like,
ah man, I played Earthbound so much, I know all the music reverse.
that's terrifying.
Wow, you're really sad. You need to play better RPGs.
Yeah, or at
You
least
need to play Fantasy Star, my boy.
play something. Breath of Fire, literally anything else. Stop. Stop. Just stop. Get
Breath of
some help.
Fire, Breath of Fire 1, please, for the love of crap.
Just, like, play all four. All
I'm
four
sorry,
games are
I have
good.
only played Breath of Fire 3.
Don't lie to me, Jimmy. You only played Final Fantasy VII.
How did he know?
I know your game, Jimmy.
Actually, I have not just played Final Fantasy VII, I also played Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Snek says, loading the gun. Here, you should go back behind the ship. There are rabbits.
There are rabbits, Jimmy. Yeah, there's going to be rabbits everywhere.
Oh, that's a reference. No one's going to get that.
And the image for the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on is just red static for all three files. What freaked me out... That's okay.
Hey, it's not the image preview was Lavender Town. Wow.
What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I
That's right.
Sassy
Right,
Dr. Eggman is here.
It's me, Eggman. I'm here too. I'm playable now.
Now I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? Again, people with no context will not understand, and people who've only really seen like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 will be like, but Eggman was playable. What's the problem? Again, you're assuming that your audience knows a lot more than they might. That's when I realized this wasn't a glitchy game, it was a hacked game. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared, or at least I tried not to be. I told myself that it was just a hacked game and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if it was a hacked Sonic game, the enemies would just be made into like crude MS Paint art of like genitalia. Like, let's be honest here. I'm like 30 minutes in. I'm pretty sure I can say that without YouTube dinging me at this point.
I mean, alternatively, Sonic, it would be like very crude, like Sonic is not wearing shoes because, oh baby, oh,
What,
we have getting the vapors.
what we're saying here is that Sonic hacks are typically like 99% hot garbage. Like there's a couple good ones here and there, but like most of them are trash.
Much like, most American farm products, they're corn. Very, very, very much corn.
Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file 1 and chose Tails, and when I selected and got started. What? And when I selected and got... Yeah, that's what it says. Okay, I'm not going crazy.
I picked file 1, chose Tails, pressed select, and got started.
Yeah.
The game froze for about 5 seconds, and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded an awful lot like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy. Oh man, he played Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, he has played a grand total of 5 games, apparently, and a lot of not... I don't even know. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more, then it showed the typical level title thing, which no one who's outside of the Sonic fandom will understand what you're talking about here. Except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only Hill Act 1. Okay. The screen faded in, and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different, though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse. What would that sound like?
No.
No.
I have no idea.
You were going into the Lavender Town melody.
No, I was just like thinking, I was like, what do you talk about? What's the first peaceful melody you would think of? Do 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 do, and what would that be reversed? Do 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 do. So I mean, that's kind of what I was trying to do.
All right, fair enough. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. That's just a really weird way to phrase that. What was odd was that as Tails was running along the level, there was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. This guy is a master timekeeper. That was when the piece
There was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. And then there was the red text that said, run, he is coming. Or that's what would happen if it was...
a different creepypasta entirely. That was when the piece of music started to lower down into slow, deep tones very slowly as I kept going. What? Okay. I accept that at face value and with no further questions. I suddenly saw something, and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Okay. Tails had a shocked and saddened...
I think this is the part where you walk by the one tree in Monster Party, and then everything just wild.
Breaks, yeah. Tails had a shocked...
Hey, Tails, let's go to Monster World.
I don't have a weapon. You have a bat. That's close enough. Get with it,
What's your name, small child? I'm Miles Prower. Great.
Wonderful.
Why has no one ever done a Monster Party creepypasta?
Because it would be very silly.
Honestly, that game is closer to an actual creepypasta than this is thus far.
Yeah, no, it is. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before. Okay. As I had to move along, and he kept that worried look on his face.
You know what I'm imagining now?
What's that?
I'm just imagining the Tails gets troll face.
Yes, that's perfect. Let's go with that. Like, some of the descriptions are, like, really weird and recursive, so I kind of feel like I'm channeling, like, the full life consequences narrator. And just like, Tails had a shocked and sad look on his face that I never saw him have before. He kept that worried look on his face. And I'm just like, okay. This is what we're doing
Sonic,
then.
you will suffer the consequences.
I loved wife like sun rays.
I'm too fast. I must kill
Fast
fast.
and
And
bullets too slow.
slow.
That's actually appropriate here. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moves past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers and he moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They all looked like somebody killed them in rather gruesome ways. The squirrel was hanged on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and the duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. That was one sentence from as he kept moving until he just, like, describes this impossible pixelated gore. Like, that was all one sentence with no period in it. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. Okay.
That was 8 lines as it's formatted.
Yeah.
That is like half of this paragraph. That one sentence.
Yep.
Wow.
After a minute passed after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen with his back against Tails with his eyes closed. Back against Tails makes it sound like they're standing abreast. It would be with his back turned toward Tails, which is actually what's trying to be conveyed here.
And then he turned around, and he did a finger wag. He's just standing there, menacingly,
sassy.
Finger wagging.
It's sassy Sonic.exe, and he's just here to be very smug and to sass you.
Hey, girlfriend.
Whoa, we're really sassy now. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move, so this had to be a cutscene. Combine are made of science from outer space. That's kind of how this is feeling to me at this point.
Suddenly, I began to have a growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to go to the to tell Tails to get away. It sounds like he's constipated. That foreboding feeling in my gut, it was like, dude, you need to go to the bathroom.
You need a laxative, my dude.
You get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. It sounds like you're getting tinnitus and you need to hit the head.
Like, it's funny to me where he's like, no, he's like that guy at the movie theater who shouted, he's like, no, don't go in there. It's like, the pixelated character on the screen can't hear you.
All right. What would happen, like, if they actually turned and were like, well, thanks, Bob, I'm glad that you told me that. And then they proceed to just go down another hallway.
Yeah, and they just leave.
Honestly, that would make me freak the hell out.
That would be just like, oh my God, what do I do with this information?
Oh my God, they're listening to me.
Now,
suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black, and the red dots, just like the title image, though there weren't a smile. And that happened, the screen turned black, and the static sound was off.
Okay.
Ta-da!
It stayed black for about 7 seconds. That, again, why the timekeeping? What does that add something?
Yeah, okay, for 7 seconds, you could have been like, it stayed black for a heartbeat, another heartbeat, a third heartbeat, and then white text appeared forming a message saying, hello, do you want to play with me? And that, honestly, would be like there's like something strange is happening, and there's just this feeling of dread, and there's this pregnant silence. Like, you know something's about to happen, and then something happens. The game literally is like, oh, hello. let's play a game. That's kind of freaky. I
Yeah.
will admit, this is probably the freakiest that the game has been thus far.
Yeah, no, agreed. At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level with the level title now saying, Hide and Seek. This time, I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire, which is something that actually happens on the Angel Island level in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, so I don't know why you felt the need to specify that.
Tails looks as if he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. Understandable. You know, I wouldn't want to be near a forest fire either. I was starting to get freaked out by this too. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of there. Oh, I mean...
Like, kind of? But, like, that would just be an idle animation. It wasn't like he was knocking on the glass and saying, Tom, you gotta get me out of here! He's crazy, man!
Bro! This Sonic guy, this is my friend. He's wearing Sonic's skin. It's movie Sonic, Tom.
Oof.
Hey
Oh, wow,
there,
that is a
friend.
certain irony that I didn't think of up till now. It's like the fact that the main character is Tom is kind of funny, because now there's like a major Sonic character named Tom in the movies.
Hey there, Tom. Why don't you come on over here there, buddy? I just want to touch your skin.
So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. Okay, pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from SA2 was playing as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whichever he was trying to run from.
You mean I am the Eggman? That literally is I am the Eggman when you meet Shadow.
Oh, it was when you meet Shadow at the Ark, which is that, like, kind of low, droning doo.
Because I was like, the first time you see Shadow is literally when he pops out of the thing and he's like,
yeah, but that's not on the Ark. Yeah, it's not on the Ark. That's Prison
true,
Island.
That's,
So
that's on the gun base. Yeah.
Yeah, Prison Island. So yeah.
Hey, strange man, do you want to wish? Oh, holy crap! My grandfather had a genie, and he never told me about this.
Suddenly,
what else has he been holding out on me?
Suddenly I heard that creepy laugh again, that awful Kefka laugh. Honestly, Kefka's laugh is pretty darn funny, honestly. Right after,
yeah, that's the thing. Kefka literally is a clown. He's a
crazed killer clown, yes.
Yeah.
Right after 10 seconds had passed as I helped Tails run through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes.
The music changed to that suspenseful, drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails, slowly gaining on him. Flying, semicolon. Sonic wasn't running. He was actually flying. Okay, that actually is a correct use of a semicolon.
Yep.
Good job, Tom. The flying pose his sprite was making him look very similar to Metal Sonic's flying. So that literally is just Sonic's flying pose then.
I was about to say it's because it's like Supersonic flies, and Metal Sonic is supposed to be mimicking that.
Except it was just Sonic, and he had the black and red... God, they keep going on about the black and red eyes.
The audience memory. It is a thing where you give the audience a bit of information, and then you feel no need to repeat it.
He had the most strange-looking grin on his face. Professor.
Yep.
I'm getting the sense from this that everything that this guy wants to do, Lumpy Touch did way better with movie Sonic.
Hey guys, yeah, no, I'm getting that.
And the entire thing is that guy is like jovial and happy, and is like he's creepy, not because he's like outright like I'm hyper violent. He's hyper violent because like he starts to do things, and you're like, I do not want this thing near me, and he's like, come on, buddy.
You know,
I just want to touch your skin.
There's a meme image, and
like,
if I can find it, I'll post it on screen during this bit. But like, there was someone did like a really quick MS Paint doodle, and it's like, this is not scary. It's like angry eyes and razor sharp teeth. It's like, this is scary. And like the eyes are wide and round and kind of bugging, and there's a big smile underneath. It's like, If something is angry at you or like maliciously trying to chase after you, you don't fear it. You respect it because it could hurt you, but you don't fear it. But if it's smiling and laughing and having a good time while clearly doing messed up and deranged things, that's
Yeah,
called ironic juxtaposition. And it's
well,
terrifying.
yeah, and that's kind of the thing with movie Sonic is you look at him and he's very having a great old time. It's just the fact that his body starts moving in ways that like regular creatures don't move, and you get the sense that like this thing is not Sonic. This is something wearing Sonic's skin.
Yep.
So
But
also
that's
the
what's
fact that you
supposed
start
to make
noticing,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's what makes
anyways,
it off-putting. That's the point.
yes. Honestly, all of Lumpy Touch's stuff is absolutely fantastic. If you have not watched his Where's Waldo series, that's so good. So
Yes,
good.
it
Good
is.
stuff. Where were we? Suddenly when Tails tripped another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15. Okay, Professor.
Yep.
I'm kind of imagining now Tails, the Family Guy, the pained knee thing that
Oh,
Peter
where he's
Griffin
like
had.
doing that like really sharp hissing inhale.
And he's just holding his knees.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of
It just
imagining
keeps going.
Tails just doing that. He's like,
Yeah. For 15 seconds. The scene is upsetting to watch. Yeah, Family Guy oftentimes is, especially after the first 3 seasons.
and I kind of teared up myself. That was very painful. But then Sonic reappeared in front of Tails, and Tails looked up at horror.
Blood started coming down from those blackened eyes. Sonic's grin slowly grew from his face. He looked down at the horrified fox. I could do nothing but watch. That was also just one sentence.
And that's a whole paragraph. What is he going to do? Like, eat him?
I guess. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. Like I'm so glad you have a stopwatch here, Tom, and you are just like monitoring this thing for like academic honesty.
This is kind of
what's that?
it's kind of a thing that the NES creepypasta did too. Unfortunately. Excuse me, as much as we like that one, it mentioned several times that like certain things were only on the screen for like a split second, and yet the main character was like, it's a good thing that I'm fast with the screenshot key, because otherwise I wouldn't get them. And yet it's like you're doing the level, and yet you're like, oh man, I'm gonna grab the screenshot. It's like, okay, I mean, maybe you're faster than I am, but holy cow, you're doing a lot of things all at once.
I've seen people with those kinds of reflexes, and because he's actually doing the art for the story, I kind of let that ride. But it's like, this lasted 15 seconds. This lasted 7 seconds. And I'm like, just say it lasted for a short pause, or it went on long enough to become uncomfortable. Like, that's really all you need.
You're too slow. Want to try again? And then the god-awful laugh came with it. I was so shocked by what happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. Then Tails would not get trolled. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? How did Sonic do that to him? I shook the shock off. Sounds like he's breaking down a dance move. As I was brought back to character select, the save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with the red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Oh no! Snek, he's gone emo!
Oh no!
He needs a goth GF now.
Oh, that's harsh.
He's listening to Evanescence and, crawling in his skin. Oof. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Jimmys and Timmy Timmys and Sally Sally's, pull one out for our poor boy Miles. He needs a goth GF stat.
Yeah, he does.
Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. Ah, yes. Everyone's favorite, and Knuckles.
If this is so upsetting, why not just like, oh, wait, My dear friend Kyle told me to break this CD, and this is upsetting to me. It's like, oh no, this is gore of my comfort character. If you need to use like a Tumblr level meme here, take the disc out of your computer and break it over your knee.
I think a better question is, why is he choosing the slowest character now?
I mean, who knows? The laugh came again. The screen cut to black again and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time the level said, "You can't run." Oh, that would really be a handicap in a Sonic game. Not being allowed to run. You'd have to like just stroll.
Shaw said, and Knuckles, I can't run, but I can and fly.
Oh, that's true. He can. Not only can he and fly, he can and climb as well.
Drat, said Evil Sonic. I
foiled again, said sassy, smug Sonic.exe.
Yeah, CC Sonic.
I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch or a hack or some kind of sick twisted joke or anything really. What? Despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. You couldn't stop at any time. There is no one. Sonic.exe is not standing there with a gun aimed at your head telling you, yes, you have to play the game, Tom.
This is not like NES Creepypasta where literally it's like you try to turn it off and it's just like, lol, Lamau, no.
That's not how this works.
But so much different. It had the ground of the scrap brain zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu, semicolon. It had the dark reddish cloudy sky. Okay, congratulations. Right. Once again, you used semicolon correctly. But it was the music that creeped me. Oh, Christ. It sounded like Gygas's theme right after you beat Pokey. And so
it's the weird humming, the droning humming ambience then.
The Pokey means business, yes.
No, that's the first round. After you beat Pokey, it changes to the weird, like, droning hum. Like, Gygas doesn't even really have a theme.
No, you're right. You're right.
Always am. No, I'm kidding.
I mean...
I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid, just like Tails did, though not as much. More rather, he looked a little unnerved. That's not really in character for Knuckles, except for, like, ghosts. He's afraid of ghosts. But
you're right. Knuckles which is funny because Knuckles is always hanging around haunted houses and stuff.
Yeah.
There's Knuckles, and there he's probably freaked out, and he was probably chuckling, but he's rather flexed his muscles.
He broke the fourth wall just like Tails, and looked as if he wasn't sure about going on, but I made him move anyway. Tom, you're coming off like a jerk.
Maybe you're the monster, Tom.
You're the real problem here, Tom, not Sonic.
He ran down that straight pathway in the dark level, so he was playing Final Fantasy 13. See, Snek, I can make jokes about that game too. Wow. And as he did, the screen can flicker red static a couple times and then made the maddening laugh. Came again. That was all one sentence.
Soundbite like bothers you? Like, dude, what's your deal? Kefka's laugh is
honestly,
like...
That's one of those things that I always was like, he did thing. Like I always really liked it.
It was so good they reused it in Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and then after a few seconds of running, I notice, present tense, several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. Not our boy. He looked nauseated walking down. Well, if you've ever walked around large amounts of blood, it's not a good smell.
It's a horrible smell.
Yeah. Down this bloodstained road. Now we're in a Green Day song. I kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and then even red static. So what, he's the reverse Flash now?
I guess.
When the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with not only is he the red Flash, he's also about to do the Shun Goku Satsu on him. Because the black screen with the text saying, "Found you." I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already. It's not like you were trying to hide. What was going on?
You know the face we're making here, people. You know the face. I'm just saying, Sonic ran up and was like, "It was me, Barry. I mean, Knuckles."
Who are you?
Anyway,
That's just what I need. I just need clueless Knuckles. Just need, yeah, like the bit right at the beginning of Sonic Adventure 2 when Eggman just literally is like, ah, yes, I'm going to steal the Master Emerald. What are you doing?
Anyway, Red Static came again, and then I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing from Silent Hill 1's final boss was playing. What?
Okay, real talk time here, Professor.
All right.
I have never actually sat down and played a Silent Hill game. I have no idea what the boss of Silent Hill 1 is.
I don't remember a high-pitched squealing sound, but I only played through that game once, so maybe my memory is not the one to rely upon here. I mean, no, the super brave and experienced gamer, a big Sonic fan here, Tom, would definitely know better than me.
Maybe he's a big the cat man.
Maybe. Was this some
He's a
kind of
patrician who played Sonic Adventure 1 with the Bass Pro Fish?
hats off if true.
Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. Okay, so he's one of the monsters from Akai Night Garo.
Yep.
Patrician taste, Tom. Excellent taste. Mwah. My
Marvelous
non-existent hat is off to you.
Yep.
I made Sonic turn and then punch. Wait, what? Knuckles could punch?
One of his idle animations, he throws a few punches, but like Knuckles did not have a punch attack unless you count like his glide animation, which isn't him punching. It's supposed to be him like slamming into the wall fists first, which is not technically punching. So like, no, not until Sonic Adventure.
This is the content that Jimmy and Timmy and Sally come for. Gliding is not punching.
Gliding is technically, by definition, not punching. You can also glide without malicious intent.
That's true. Ladies and gentlemen, when you glide through the air, don't have malice in your hearts. That is the true and Knuckles way.
That's true.
But Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and I made him punch again. And then Sonic vanished again, laughing.
Take a shot every time this paragraph says the word again.
Knuckles was panicking even more. And that is really out of character. Knuckles doesn't panic. Knuckles, chuckles and then proceeds to get mad.
Yep.
And then I felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically Sonic. I'm sorry. Oh my god. I actually said Sonic. Oh my god. Sonic was playing with the soccer. Ah! He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as and knuckled with a D, fell to his knees and clutched his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was driving us both crazy.
He's so smug. Why is he so smug?
Sonic looked at Knuckles, and the spleen went. The screen, not the spleen. I'm sorry. A screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with. So little time. Would you agree?
Like, okay, I gotta say this. Like, this is definitely the kind of dialogue that someone who's like 12 or 13 years old would think is like really edgy villain banter. But like the thing is, you're trying to go for like this weird soul-sucking demon villain, but you're writing him like the way that Freddy Krueger was by circa movies 3 and 4, where it's like really hammy and cheesy. It's like, so many souls to play with. Like, that is not scary. That's like the villain that's supposed to be kind of likable just for how much of an asshole he is.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the Nightmare on Elm Street, is that, like, you learn more about the actual citizens that killed Freddy, and you're like, yeah, you know what? At this point, all these people deserve everything that they're getting, because Freddy might have been, like, a killer, but all these people are total a-holes, too, so...
Yep.
You know what? If he kills them in their dreams, I mean, hey, man,
You know, it is what it is, right? What the
Yeah.
hell? Just what is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the
Glad to know we are still on the
game.
same dialogue level as trolls too. So
Yes, but I was too scared to think that. Big brave, big Sonic fan, super smart gamer.
I was brought back to the main menu. That's right, it's me, Tom the Big Brain Gamer, again. And this time the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to reddish gray. His dreadlocks were... Okay, he doesn't have dreadlocks, okay? Those are spines.
It's just quills.
I don't know
He's
where
an echidna.
I don't know where people are like, he has dreadlocks. They're not dreadlocks.
I mean, they're styled like dreadlocks, but the people who first started calling them dreadlocks were freaking Archie, so I refuse to abide.
Dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too, and he had the look of sadness on his face. He was definitely not, and chuckling. I began to think that these are actual characters trapped in these TV screens on the same... shocker. They are trapped in the TV screen anyway because you are playing it on a TV.
Yeah.
I know this is going to shock you, Tom, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So I shut off the...
He shut the game off! He did it!
Then I took a break. I took a nap. I took a dump. I wish I had clogged the toilet. But then I had to go have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in a pitch black darkness, though I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. Oh, he's in a noir film now.
Oh.
I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying something like, "Eh!"
Why did you give us
Why
to
did you give us to him? And run away before he gets you too. And you should update your McAfee. And I want to talk to you about your extended warranty on your car.
Also, buy a plunger so you can unclog your toilet.
We can smell it over here. How do you live with that?
Oh man, they're riffing on him for his like wicked Taco Bell dump. Like this is a terrifying experience right here.
Your love of Bob has completely her undoing.
The cries died out as I heard Sonic laugh. His laugh. It sounded like the distorted Kefka laugh. Is that supposed to be scary?
Oh God, that sounds like an old man. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't do the Kefka laugh. I'm sorry.
You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Kyle, though he didn't last long. That's what she said.
I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now until you join him and all my other friends.
That's what he said. It's like, won't be long until you join him and all my other friends. Whoa, damn!
You know what? Fine, I'll let you do that because
Okay.
you have a way better Sonic voice than I do.
Thank you.
I saw him walking towards me, flickering in and out in several directions.
You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others. This might be an oblique reference to my theme song in Sonic 2006.
What? When he grabbed me and saw his bleeding black and red eyes, I said to him, "Hey, bro, yeah, I feel like you have dry eyes. You should probably get some saline solution. That might help that."
Oh, thanks. I didn't think of that.
Your proclivity towards devouring souls. Please do not devour my soul.
Oh,
I woke up with fright. After a couple hours, I decided to continue. Why, though?
Why?
I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this is happening. Oh, my God. Okay.
Tom,
ladies and gentlemen.
You're a little dim, my dude.
You a little dim. He's a bit dim. If there's a supernatural thing that's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to, destroy your booty hole. And I did destroy your friend's booty hole too. And we're all coming. It's like, you should go, yes, I will allow this supernatural entity to destroy my booty hole. Or maybe you should go, no. No.
Maybe I need to do what Kyle told my dear friend Kyle told me to do and break the disc, which is what I was supposed to do.
Want to have your booty hole destroyed, at which point, more power to you, but
probably not the best plan, for just being honest.
No. Just saying, you do need your booty hole. Anyways,
kind of important.
That aside,
I still thought it was, hold on, I'm actually jumping ahead a little bit. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I got to know. I had to figure out why this was happening, ... So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that was wacky, playing as Robotnik. But anyways, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ellipses, which I found really freaky.
Why do the
This time I
ellipses
was
terrify you, though?
I fear commitment, just like my favorite character, Squall Leonhardt. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Oh no, I'm playing Final Fantasy 13 again.
Oof.
Didn't really look like it was from any classic Sonic games, although it had the pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were grayish purple and animated candlelight and a few bloodstains here and there. You know what I'm thinking, actually, Professor?
What's that?
Speaking of Chrono Trigger, this kind of reminds me of the medieval levels in Chrono Trigger, the way he's describing it.
Yeah, I kind of get that, except for the checker.
Yeah.
Apart from that, yeah.
No, actually, some of the things on the Demon King's castle are like that.
Huh,
apart from the
okay.
bloodstains.
Right.
And then there was a dark red curtain hanging above. And then there was Magus there, and he was summoning Lavos. Actually, no, he did. Oh man, we're in a way cooler game now. Every 12 seconds or so. Oh, geez. There was a red curtain sways very slowly, and wherever you're playing the game, you can barely see it move. What?
What?
Whenever you're playing whenever you're playing the game, you can barely see it.
Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly.
Okay, I get it. All right. So the curtain is swaying very slowly in the background.
But it takes like 12 seconds for the animation to play out, basically.
Yeah, but that's such a weird way of saying that.
Yeah.
So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am only screwing around a little bit here. Most, and by I mean like 95% of that last sentence is just the way it is. The music was oddly pleasant, a piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song. The Pain for Peace. That's a Godzilla reference, but I knew better. I knew it wasn't just a Godzilla reference. It was from Godzilla 1954. Da-da-da! And this was a song that played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse.
How do you know that? Like,
I have a good ear.
How do you know that?
Robotnik didn't look nervous like Tails and Knuckles did. And that was because he was strapped.
Stay strapped, don't get clapped.
His vicious look on his face, as if he was a bit paranoid. Well, I mean, yeah, he's in a bad neighborhood, clearly.
That's true.
He did a little animation when I left him standing. He turned his head to the left and then to the right at least twice, and then shrugs at me, as if he had no idea where he was going or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He had his usual running animation. You know, when you've beaten him at the end of a classic Sonic game and you chase him. I kind of know. I assume it's the same as in the one Sonic game that we finished not too terribly long ago.
Yeah. He does the same thing basically in Superstars, yeah.
Yeah, so my experience with classic Sonic is I want to say I played Sonic 1 a couple times. I think I beat Green Hill Act 1 like once. I'm not very good at classic Sonic, I guess ultimately is what I'm saying. So yeah, the haters can laugh at me and say that I suck at Sonic, and that, you know what? Yes, in fact, I will say that I'm not very good at platformers.
But
yeah.
Tutaku, there are no haters. Tom assured us that literally everyone on Earth is a Sonic fan.
Oh no! Tutaku was taken by evil time-traveling Reverse Flash Sonic to the moon,
where he would be smug at him forever.
Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downwards, comma, now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, comma, though I pressed on. That is all one sentence.
Also, Robotnik is never unsure of himself. That man is the most self-assured man who ever existed.
Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downwards, period. Now I was nervous, semicolon, even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, comma, though I pressed.
He's treating
what?
commas like periods, basically, is kind of what I'm seeing here.
Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downwards, period. Now I was nervous, semicolon, even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, period. And that's all you needed to do. Because though I pressed onward, the next thing he says is, as I led Robotnik down the stairs. So it's understood that you're continuing on.
As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Oh, so we're in Castlevania now.
Castlevania!
We landed onto another
Surprise,
hallway.
Eggman! It wasn't Magus, it was me, Dracula!
Oh, of course.
The one summoning Lavos.
Then we landed onto another hallway.
Whoa, this sounds like the coolest Dungeons & Dragons game.
This one is longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it.
Are you a bad enough dude to team up with Eggman
to beat Dracula, who is summoning Lavos? And we headed down another flight of stairs.
That sounds cool.
We headed down another flight of stairs down. Okay, thanks for that.
We were going down a flight of stairs. Then we headed down another flight of...
Another hallway, and then
another Castlevania.
We are. Another flight of stairs. This one was much longer, took at least 1 full minute. And then I heard that horrid Kefka laugh again, and then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were black flame now. When Robotnik...
Okay, I had a thought, actually, Professor.
Do tell.
You remember Burn Rooster's level, where literally you're going down, and then you have to go back up the missile silo, and it literally is just like a giant stairway.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back up the stairway. That's kind of what I'm imagining now, is literally Eggman just running down the stairway.
Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Yeah. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, so he's above the hallway, I noticed he now looked really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. I couldn't blame him. I was scared too.
How could you tell? Eggman has glasses.
Like, you can't see his eyes, and you can barely see his mouth in the Genesis sprites. Like, I don't understand the mentality here.
Maybe he's got a scowl, but Eggman always has a scowl.
Yeah,
on his
he's
face.
always scowling. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik the same way he did Knuckles, and then red static. That's not a verb. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds, and then it showed me a most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness, where you can only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean like he looks so real you could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could feel the fur if you touched the screen. Like, okay, here's the biggest weakness of this story. Sonic is designed based on basically a cartoon character. He's somewhere between Felix the cat with like an attitude, and like I think the official Japanese artist kind of like, oh well, he's kind of like a fairy. He's like this fictional, colorful, otherworldly being. So he's like a fairy hedgehog. It's like you're trying to make that scary, and it's not going to work.
He's literally he is literally Rubber Hose 1988 Michael Jackson from the bad era.
Yeah.
Fighting Rubber Hose
Teddy Roosevelt, who has a genius IQ and really loves machines. So I'm like,
and also
this
his Funtails.
Yeah.
And also,
it's like,
and also teaching people about civics. Sonic.
Yeah. And like, don't even get me started about like, oh, but there was this alternate version of Sonic.exe. No, they're not scary. I've seen them all, and not a single Sonic version has actually been scary. You basically have to abandon Sonic's design completely to make something remotely scary.
And yet, ironically, what he just described is basically the first version of
movie Sonic.
Yes. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now, I right now, pause this, go to Lumpy Touch, look up Lumpy Touch movie Sonic, and you will see exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
Basically, his design that he just described is the intro to movie Sonic fighting photorealistic movie Eggman.
Yeah.
Okay.
His face,
Look
oh
into my
god.
realistic eyes, Sonic. I am very serious.
His face, oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I had ever seen. And that's saying something considering I saw that image at the start of the game. If you say
looks
so.
like you got me there.
Super
Realistic movie, Eggman. It looks like you're gonna have to get the Chaos Emerald.
from my mouth. Simple task for a brilliant genius such as myself.
No, don't do it. Realistic movie, Eggman.
His eyes are wide and black and once again crying blood, which also looked hyper-realistic because, of course, there were two small...
Speaking of someone who has had some pretty grievous bleeding injuries in my time, it's not the way blood works.
Yeah.
Hate to tell you.
Blood does
this thing called coagulating.
Yeah, it pools.
So you get this awful, like, bloody scab just flowing down from the wound. It's kind of awful and gross, and it smells even worse. And if you're like me and you bleed from your nose, you get the just joyful benefit of you smell it and you get to taste it.
Yeah.
Fun.
And there were two small glowing red dots in those black eyes staring right at me, caps locked, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs, very sharp fangs, much like the werehog's teeth.
Sonic's design. That's just Sonic's design. Look at Sonic Adventure 1. Sonic, his face, when he stretches his mouth to the full extent, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of him being a cartoon.
The werehog had sharp teeth, but hedgehogs have sharp teeth. They're insectivores, dude.
I don't know, man. All the hedgehogs I've ever seen, they just eat peas.
Yeah, no,
Like
I mean they're omnivores, but they're primarily insectivorous.
Yeah, I get it.
But they'll eat like small pieces of meat or fruits or veggies if they can get them. Oh my god, I just realized that is one sentence. There is no period anywhere here.
Sonic has fangs, very sharp fangs. They're much like the werehogs, except it's just looking somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it.
From his grin was wide and demonic. That is one sentence.
Oh my god, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 2/3 of that paragraph is all one sentence.
Yep.
Man, Mrs. Commanderson is going to F minus you out of... Poor Mrs. Commanderson.
She has to read this.
Was it Mrs. Commanderson or Mrs. Gunderson? I forget what we called her.
Ours was Mrs. Gunderson. Mrs. Commanderson was
Mrs. Gunderson,
the
middle-aged opossum who was Sonic's, third grade teacher.
Yeah.
Who apparently Eggman knew for some reason.
Had fangs, very sharp fangs, much like the werehog's teeth, except more vicious looking, somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs as if he ate some animal.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to draw her now. It just feels I'm so disappointed in you. You've just become a demonic entity, and now you think you can just give up on grammar.
Being a demonic entity is not an excuse to abandon basic sentence structure.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Gunderson.
I stared at that gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off it, except to click my stopwatch. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face, it just took 10 seconds for it to etch into my brain for good. That is
Snek.
One
I was like, wait a second. He didn't say flicking a stopwatch. Then the screen flickered with red static again 3 times, and on the 3rd time, my orders from the red Chinese kicked in, and I began to... I'm sorry. No. And then I heard the Kefka laugh again. My Manchurian candidate conditioning didn't kick in. That would actually be kind of interesting. Except this time, it seemed distorted. I'm sorry, it wasn't demonic earlier. Okay, fine, whatever. I went down the image again, except this time the text, there was text again, even though it was messed up, but it was pretty much one of the most horrifying things I looked at since I've had this game, ellipses. I am God.
It was when I
It
read
was
this
it.
message while looking at Sonic, it hit me. I realized right there and then this Sonic was a monster, a pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly, my dear friend Kyle, are just his little toys. In the game is the very gateway to his chaotic, nightmarish world and the very hell his victims are trapped in. One sentence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just realized our protagonist Tom, kind of dim.
Like he's not even saying, oh, this is a demon that is like masquerading as Sonic in order to do these terrible things. He is saying Sonic the Hedgehog is a demon, and that what we see under normal circumstances is the act. That is basically what he's saying here.
What you're saying is, Professor, is that this is like Randolph Carter in H.P. Lovecraft, who's like, and then I went down to the pyramids and I realized that the ancient Egyptian gods are actually the elder deities that were beaming, nightmares into the dreams of men, and this is a terrible revelation, and I bring this back to you now just to understand that you should never turn on your Mega Drive ever again, for when you feed him hopes and dreams, you are feeding this monstrous being.
Yeah, basically, yes. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness. The color of the red static came again, this time much louder and distorted, so loud it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. One sentence.
And then it stopped and showed nothing but black screen. As I looked down at the black screen, at the one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Tom. Meanwhile, there was the jingle. Sega!
The Kefka laugh now sounded more clear, as if Sonic was right behind me. Played again 3 times as I looked at the text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu, and this time the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray, his mustache drooped and had blackened, his glasses broke and blood is coming from them, and he had a mere dead-like expression on his face. So he's not dead, he has a dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they're going through. They were forever trapped within the game.
Never mind the fact that it was my own fault, and I was the one who condemned them to such a fate.
Yeah, they were forever trapped in the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and always will be.
But they were trapped in the game forever anyway.
Because they're game characters, so they would have been in the game regardless. Then the computer...
I'm confused now.
The computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on, no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified by what I saw on my stopwatch.
This malware has breached my PC.
Sonic is the very embodiment. See, like he's doing it again. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his games in more ways than one, and then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game, literally drags you to hell where he can play with you always as his toy. One sentence.
Meanwhile, Professor Snek is there, and he proceeds to wave his non-existent hands going, "Thank you. Finally, someone understands classic Sonic is torture."
I can't. I'm sorry, guys. Sonic 1 and 2 are not the games you remember them being. Sonic didn't get good till Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I can't get the game out of my computer.
I can't really comment on that. I'm sorry.
I think it's stuck in there, but at least I managed to turn it back on now. Okay. After I sat there for 25 seconds.
If you have a CD drive, you can manually pop open the CD drive.
All you need is a paper clip. There's literally a hole for maintenance purposes specifically to help with that.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's not like this is not like Freddy Fazbear security doors where they're like, well, thanks to our 1990s technology, we can just keep it closed as long as it has power. It's like, no, it literally is a series of gears that are just being that, you get it literally just a series of gears. And all you need is just, as the professor is saying, you just need a paper clip in order to move one gear in order for it to just go chook and it just pops open. Because that's all it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to be a hyper, complex system.
Yeah, it's not a trap. It's a basic CD drive.
Yeah.
After I sat there for 25 seconds, I clicked my stopwatch and heard a voice right behind me like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom.
Man, Tom is like really on it with his stopwatch today.
He is.
I turned around to see where the voice was coming from, and I saw what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic Dakimakura, smiling with bloodstains under his...
Oh, this has got way more interesting, apparently.
Oh, my.
Oh, jeez.
What is a Dakimakura? Ask your mother. There, Jimmy.
Your mother has many Snek Dakimaka, so you will be able to find out.
Oh, my. You're not supposed to know about that. Ask me when you're like 47. Oh, man. I'm never going to learn this. I'm going to die when I'm 22.
So, for some reason, Sonic fans think this is a good story, and I don't know why. Because it's pretty bad. This is...
this is the first time I've actually read it. I've just heard Cybershell and others who say that it's bad. So I'm just like, I choose to take this at, word. I have only read a few of them. Like I read Jeff the Killer. I have read Smile Dog. Actually, so which do you want to do Smile Dog next? Or is that going to be it for the
Okay, I kind of wanted to cover everything in one thing, but apparently reading the stories is definitely going to take too long, so let's do an overview of each of them instead.
Okay.
We'll make this like a Sonic reading, and then we'll just talk about the others instead. I will say Smile Dog is, at least from a technical standpoint, a vastly superior story. The person who was writing it clearly had a grasp on the English language. The thing is, the original Smile Dog story is an anonymous submission. We don't know who wrote it. But the entire thing is, it turns out the picture's a virus, and the way you get rid of it is to, quote-unquote, spread the word and move the file attachment along, and it's just a bad shoop of a big dog with human teeth photoshopped over top it. This was considered terrifying at the turn of the millennium.
I was going to say I saw this one and I was like, this is kind of bad. This is kind of bad. Like, it's like the entire time he's being haunted by this one image, and it's like this entity basically is like supposed to be haunting him. And it's like talking to him through emails and things.
Yep.
And it's like apparently affecting people around him. And then ultimately you see the image and you're like, that's just this like husky with like red glowing eyes and just like this really goofy, poorly photoshopped, like toothy grin.
There have been
like,
a couple variants of the story.
Okay, just the one I saw, that's what it was. And I'm like, to be perfectly honest, it just seemed to me like it's like you remove the glowing red eyes, it just looks like the husky is having a good old time. He's like,
there's the red version of the story, the photo. There is the less shooped version, which is just basically the husky. I think that's the one that's actually here on the creepypasta.com. The picture they have is the non-red version of the dog. The red version like kind of deep fries the image and tries to make it more intimidating, but it's not. Spoiler alert. The thing is like the thing is one, it doesn't really make sense in cultural context anymore. Like email attachments and like thread chains in terms of forwarding emails to like all the people in your address book was a part of a zeitgeist 20 years gone. It's just not something that can come back, and it really defangs the horror, so to speak. And honestly, even if you were in that day and age of internet use, it wasn't a scary concept to begin with. It's just, oh, it's the spoopy demon dog with flat teeth. That would be less damaging than a dog's actual teeth. Yeah, it's not scary. The story from a technical standpoint is interesting in that the author seems to be literate. And yeah, like it's not much of anything, but honestly, like I forgot how long this version of the story is. This just goes on and on and on. But yeah, at the end, the main character is like, "Oh, can I spread the word?" And he posts the image, and like that's the punchline is you have basically watched the ring tape, make a copy, and move it on. Like it's all kind of the same thing, and that's the thing. I think it came on the heels of the ring, so it's almost like fundamentally the same mechanics. So,
well, not really the heels of the ring, because the ring was like, this was like what, 2009, 2010.
I don't know when it first got started. I'll be honest.
And then,
let's see if it actually says.
yeah. So I mean, even at the time that Smile Dog was really being a thing, like there was this big thing about like, there was ever since email attachments have been a thing, like they have always kind of been like
2008. The story debuted in 2008.
Yeah. So like, if this was like a thing in like 1998, I would be like, yes, because but even then, even in 1998, there have been things, warnings, and basic internet safety, where it's the entire thing of like, you don't put out your basic information, you don't open attachments or download things that you aren't aware of. So it kind of defangs the entire thing as this supposed like entity that's basically being spread around and cursing people. Even then, so
yeah, it by itself, it's not a particularly compelling story, but there is one asterisk I will append to this. There is a recent analog horror channel called Chainmail Chasers. And the way the story is laid out is at first it's like, oh, we're going to talk about like the origin of these memes and these like these chain letters and things like that. And Smile Dog is one of the ones that they kind of go into a little bit.
That is interesting. And it's an interesting idea because, I mean, not going to lie, that's actually kind of the way the King in Yellow works for Lovecraft.
Yeah. But what makes it interesting, and they did a fantastic job with it, is they have this bit where someone contacts her about the Smile Dog, and after they do an episode about the original email, and the guy's like, oh, well, like there's an older version of the image that might get you like closer to the origin. And like her computer gets infected by by the Smile Dog entity, and it's actually really well done. And I know some of the tricks they use because I'm familiar with making videos. I know it might surprise you guys 1,000 videos later. So I kind of know what they're doing, but they do it fairly well. Where the Smile Dog, it like basically admits that it's this weird mimetic entity, and this is just like its modern incarnation is just how like people perceive it over the years as this weird dog demon.
Literally Rocco's basilisk.
Yes, basically. And funny enough, the story has like if you explore some of the stuff they do, and the way they do some of like the retro internet bits is actually like really good, like absolute A+ Photoshop work. There's a thing where you can go to this website that was supposed to be like this defunct Geofire Angel Cities site called the Paranormal Prickheads or something like that. And they were like cataloging all these weird things. And there's this weird story where there are these monsters called basilisks that are trying to basically eat people. But then it turns out like there's this weird class of angel that deliberately feed on basilisks and kill them. And so then there's like this weird conspiracy that they're not angels, they're a form of demon, and there's like this like these people who are deliberately trying to make more basilisks so these things can continue feeding. And there's a lot of intrigue. The story is still ongoing, by the way, and you guys should go check them out because like I recommend it. It's good stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Cool. It's very cool. Very cool.
That one has a bit of a more positive note. The next one The next one
Oh boy.
is the rake.
This one.
The rake.
Really? Hold on. Because the one I'm seeing on the list that you gave me is another one. It's your boy, Jeff the Killer.
Oh, okay. I'm going to put him out of order. Well, that's fine. Let's do Jeff the Killer real quick. So Jeff the Killer.
Because let me tell you, if you have not, in lieu of us recounting Jeff the Killer, Professor, if you may, post the link to Internet Historian's, the Internet Historian read-along theater of Jeff the Killer,
excellent.
where he gets a number of other people to sing, to basically play the various characters. And it is very well done, especially because you get to hear, Internet Historian Chan, shall we say, who is the mother.
Of course he is.
Oh, yes, it is I. Hello, Jeff. It's your mother. It's
So,
something like that to that extent. It is. Let's just say this, if I may. This is not a scary story at all.
No.
The image that prompted it, that inspired it, is pretty spooky. And to this day, I don't think anyone really knows where it came from or who the heck it's supposed to be. But
there are some theories, and the thing is, like, they keep saying that there's, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but there's never been concrete evidence to my understanding. There's been a few that are like possibly very close, but again, there's no proof, and it's kind of hard to reverse engineer the process that the whoever photoshopped the original image together. We don't really know how, and we don't know how to unbake it so that we can find out what it originally was. The whole thing is, it's this really weak story told in a very rushed way. And it's about this kid named Jeff and his brother Lou. And they move to a new neighborhood. There's some bullies, and things escalate from like 0 to 100 like almost instantaneously. And these kids are like knife fighting in the streets. And like,
not just knife fighting in the street. They're literally, their parents are having this nice little like, oh, there we have new neighbors. Let's get to know welcome the new neighbors. And if you've been in any large neighborhoods, you have been in situations like this. But at the same time, there's kind of this new neighbor block party, pool party thing going on. And then suddenly there's just 12-year-olds with guns just out of nowhere. And they're just having like a John Woo gunfight through this house. While the parents are like, oh, yes, I'm so happy to be here. And then just, there's just children dual with fisting pistols, like firing at each other.
Yeah.
It's very silly.
It's very strange. And more than that, there's this whole bit, like, where they suddenly start fighting in a bathroom, and they douse Jeff in bleach, and then somehow set him on fire?
Get the best part about this, Professor. The fact that, like, throughout the entire thing, Jeff basically, like, the entire time he's like, Jeff got this feeling. And then he just, like, because of the bullying, he just snapped and, like, his MK Ultra training kicked in and he just started murdering.
Yeah, like, he starts killing people, like, brutalizing them, even though he's, like, described as this kind of, like, schlubby kid.
Just like a skinny little skinny. He's smaller than several of the bullies, who are basically like gigantic, by the way. These are like Mad Max, like Fist of the North Star, like psycho freak children.
Yeah.
And yet then this like tiny little skinny, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, suddenly is like, oh yeah, then my special secret agent training kicked in and I'm just murdering people. I mean, sending them to Brazil. I mean, sending them to Sonic.exe. I mean...
Yeah, we're like 2 hours in. No one cares.
I said what I meant.
So, like,
but,
here's the thing. Like, in the climax of the confrontation is that Jeff gets bleach dumped on him, and then they somehow set him on fire, which, for those who don't know, bleach is not flammable. Of all the things that it can do, like burn the crap out of you or, like, just really genuinely be a very nasty chemical.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to simultaneously have him
have the flesh on his eyes and his mouth removed while also making him incredibly pale, because the picture of Jeff the Killer literally has him just with this like rictus grin, without lips, without the criminally having a brain fart, without I'm blinking right now, and eyelids. Without eyelids, had to think about what that actually is.
Right.
With like eyeball parts, and it's like, wait, no, he has his eyes. It's the bits around it, the actual eyelids, which, for the record, is not tenable because
You would
your
go
eyeballs
blind.
would dry out and you
Yeah.
would go blind. Yes, so you can't do that. That's don't think of doing that. It's all the body modifications. You don't do that.
Definitely not that one.
So, I mean, never mind the fact that, first off, if he was so burned that it actually affected his skin, you're not going to come out
Pale,
pale.
pasty white.
You are going to become incredibly brown. It actually
Yeah.
causes your skin to toughen and to become darker, actually, because of the scar tissue.
And
All right.
Again, you can't be doused in bleach and set on fire simultaneously. Those are mutually exclusive states of being.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is not going to make him into, Jeff the Killer. This is going to make him into Archer from Fate Stay Night.
So, like,
You are now imagining Archer from Fate Stay Night with a shit-eating grin.
let's not ignore the other fact that all this happens in the context of a bathroom. He literally could have stepped into the shower stall and immediately doused himself.
For the record, by the way, as a former chemical engineer, that's what you're supposed to do if you're doused with dangerous chemicals like bleach, by the way. You're not supposed to have bleach on your skin anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens if you're cleaning. That's understandable, but you should rinse it off as soon as you can anyway.
Right.
It's not... I want to say bleach itself is actually a basic compound. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not conducive for healthy living. Okay?
Really isn't. So, like, he immediately could have gotten doused and stopped it. Like, he would have been hurt, sure, but not as severely as the story makes it out to be. Instead, he just, like, runs out of the house screaming like an idiot.
Well, Professor, we have already established that the entire reason for the story is basically they had the image and they were working backwards from there.
Yeah.
This is kind of part of the issue that I have with a lot of Slender Man things, is that they are working from, there's this image of a creepy weird thing. What does that mean?
Right.
And what does this thing do? And so that's kind of my problem. And for what it's worth, the idea of, basically having like a Falling Down or like Fight Club or like, the turmoils of suburban life basically are too much even for a small child, and eventually even they will snap. You know what? It's kind of silly. It's kind of goofy, kind of overwrought, but I can understand that, for some 12-year-olds, they would be like, I read Jeff the Killer, and it changed my life.
I'm so sorry.
And you know what? I mean, I'm just saying, if this is supposed to be what it's supposed to be, not what it actually is. What I think the author was going for is that ultimately it's like suburban life, moving around, being bullied is so bad that it will make even the most mild-mannered amongst us become monsters. Which I would disagree with, but in that mind, I feel like there is a kernel of a good idea in here.
Yeah.
Is it a good one? No. I think that very thirsty teen girls amongst the universe have propped this one up just because of the OMG, I could fix him. And it's like, lady, I hate to tell you this, if this guy ever existed, no, you would be a literal pelt on his wall.
He's also like 13 or 14 years old. So weird.
That's also kind of creepy.
And also, like, if you had your skin removed, your entire body would become one big walking weak point. Your skin is a protective barrier, my dude.
Does he have did he have his skin removed? I thought his entire thing was that it was like burnt.
Well,
And
like,
that
it was supposed to
that's
be
why-
burnt severely. Like, they talk about how severe the burns are in the context of the creepypasta.
well,
He
yes.
took off the eyelids manually, apparently, and carved... No, the smile. He carved the smile in permanently, like the whole...
Yeah, okay. Well, bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, just for the record, before you start trying to do things, you lose about 50% of your skin. Your body goes into shock and you die.
Don't do that, okay?
Don't try and remove your skin. Don't try. Okay, this is not like Ditaku, trying to get a rise out of you. This is literally Uncle Ditaku telling you a thing that he has learned from his years on being on this sad rock that we call home. Don't remove your skin. I hate that I have to say this,
But here we are.
Yes.
So the next one we have lined up is the rake.
Yes.
This-
Yes. The rake. Yes, I'm here now. I am the rake. Yes.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
That is a very unfortunate name.
It is like a lot. Like, apparently, the person who wrote this did not know that the rake is an old timey term for someone of ill repute.
It is not just an old timey person of ill repute. A rake, ladies and gentlemen, is akin to what we would know today as a player, or alternatively a fuckboy. All right? They are young men who would go out and have carnal relations out of wedlock. How very scandalous. Indeed.
Yes.
If you are wondering now what that means, once again, ask your mother.
So we cannot help you at this point. So
No, we can't.
So here's the thing. This creepypasta is, from a technical standpoint, very well written. The person who wrote it kind of had a general idea for what they were shooting for.
I will be perfectly honest, Professor. I've never actually read this one, so I'm going to have to defer to you.
Technically, it is concise. It is not concise. It is technically tight. It is well constructed. But honestly,
didn't you say it was pretty short? Yeah,
it's relatively short. But even then, it still probably goes on too long for its own good. Because there's a whole to-do. There is a note that starts a story, a journal entry, a mariner's log, and then a witness testimony that make up the totality of the story. And the thing is, it's just like, OMG, it talks. What did it say? Don't come here again. Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
OMG, he talks. He said, get the F out of here.
Like, the implication, and the story generally is like, oh, it's like some kind of weird wendigo or monster that just lives out in the forest and wants to do its own thing, but because of, the world developing, it's been forced out of its natural habitat and is forced now to, go elsewhere. But at the same time, all that it has done is be a little creepy and break into people's houses and stand in their rooms and kind of, mumble to itself. It's like, so it's like a geriatric patient that broke out of its home, basically.
Alternatively, what it could be?
What's that?
I am now, oh Lord. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna lay this down for you there, Professor.
All right.
It's a Wendigo.
Right.
Tall creature, lives out in the woods.
Right.
Loner, by
Yes.
itself. Kind of stinky.
Yep.
Kind of smelly.
Right.
It, hunts men, as Wendigos do. It, has particular proclivities, kind of awkward, kind of looms places.
Yep.
Look, okay, I'm not saying that basically what I'm thinking of is ultimately just like girl failure or Wendigo that's going around hunting, people, but that's basically what I'm thinking.
I can see that. And the thing is, like, the entire story tries to hinge upon being very vaguely defined. Like, the Mariner's
Which-
log is just like, oh my gosh, there's something broke into our camp. What did it do? It told us to go back to England and not come back. Is that all?
For the
Yes.
record, you should probably have ultimately the descriptions of monsters be as sparing as possible, at least but you should have some kind, and that's kind of my issue with a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, is that basically their things are his descriptions of his monsters are like, and then they were so spoopy that I spooked myself and then I passed out, but I ran away at the same time, and then I was like, dang, that was really spoopy. And I never saw it again, but I know it's out there. It's gonna spook somebody someday.
Yeah, like the rake is just kind of this mildly annoying and kind of cantankerous home invader that seems very oddly motivated. Like the end of the story is literally this woman saying that she had a voice recorder, caught the voice of the rake, but she's not going to listen to it and not going to write down what it said. That's literally how the story ends. It is the most anticlimactic thing that you could possibly do with this setup. And I get it. This is one of those stories that is loved. This is like Slender Man tier loved creepypasta story.
Wow.
I'm gonna say it's not really that good. Like, it's an interesting concept, but like I don't know if it's one of those stories that was built around the image or vice versa. But like you have this kind of creepy, off-putting thing. You gave it a terrible name for a monster, and then it's just like, and then it was in my room, and it was all like, hey, you got any mashed potatoes? It's seen your card gauge as a cryptid because of the rake, because of his rather terrible name. We created our own cryptid monster. We created the Himbo. Him dash BOW.
I did because we asked I want to say ChatGPT to make a rhyming rhyming lore about the himbo, and it actually came back with a really interesting sonnet. And so I did a reading of the sonnet, and I want to say, the professor, you still have it. So
I believe so. Yes.
I'd love for us to get some art for it and just to put it up as a short. It's not terribly long. It's like 15 seconds of me speaking. But
yeah, if I have it, I'll definitely put it in the video for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could do so much more with this concept, and it just doesn't, and that's kind of a letdown. The most interesting thing I think I've seen done with the rake is that it does show up in Everyman Hybrid, the ARG/Slenderman series. But I'm going to be honest, Everyman Hybrid had a lot of pacing issues in its final act, and it really kind of brought the whole thing down a full letter grade. Maybe I'll talk about them another time. So next is Squidward's move to Brazil. I can't say the word, okay? It's like YouTube will freak out on me.
Squid. Yeah, actually, I want to say this one actually came out on, it was a collaboration between X and CO. And this was kind of a thing back in the Chan days of people would love to talk about old cartoons, particularly the early seasons of SpongeBob, because for whatever reason, our generation just has this strange fascination with early SpongeBob. And just, yeah, there's just this recurring thing about, there's this episode and Squidward was like really, really, really mean. And he just started being really, really out of character. And then things started happening. Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of words. And it basically is kind of like, I don't think it was like the originator in terms of lost episode creepypastas. I think there's others that are older. But it kind of set this precedent where like every single unpaid intern at Nickelodeon gets like early access to all the episodes, and of course it's all like, OMG, Squidward moved to Brazil. And like,
OMG, here's the secret, evil ones that are all possessed. You shouldn't read these, but here, you will have the master key and unlimited access to the dark archives. The dark archives. Like all of Rocco's Modern Life. And also all of Ren and Stimpy. Wow, just like regular Ren and Stimpy? Yeah, just regular Ren and Stimpy. It's actually that bad. Oh. Uh-oh. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
yeah, like the totality of the story is this random intern, this nobody, gets an early screening of this episode, and Squidward tries to put on a performance with some instrument, and everyone boos him. And then he's just like super sad and hyper realistic. And then there's like eyes, but they're super sad and hyper realistic. And then there's gore, but it's hyper realistic. And then a hyper realistic voice yells, "Move to Brazil," and Squidward, moves to Brazil. And that's it. That's the entire creepypasta. I have just saved you the 5 to 8 minute long slog that is this entirely uninteresting creepypasta. Like, arguably one of the worst. Like, this is Sonic.exe levels of like autistic fandom, like propelled this from something that should have been forgotten into something that is unfortunately still around. I think the originator of this was Move to Brazil Mouse.avi, which was a attempt at a Mickey Mouse creepypasta, but it's just a lot of I waited, and then there was Mickey walking, and then something was hyper realistic, and then Mickey was walking, and it was hyper realistic, and then he moves to Brazil. The end. And speaking of uninteresting Mickey Mouse creepypastas, there's another famous one that I grabbed that we could discuss real quick called Abandoned by Disney. And apparently, the whole thing starts with, there was a Treasure Island result in the Bahamas, and it basically, like, died, and so it was abandoned. And I don't know if this is actually true or not, because it's completely irrelevant. Because apparently this guy somehow snuck in to a Disney theme park, and there was just like all this stuff laying there that apparently the multi-gazillion-dollar corporation didn't take with them. And it was super spoopy, and it was probably also hyper realistic. I don't think this one actually does that, because he's supposed to be there in person. And then the proof of his journey is they find a mascot costume for Mickey, which for some reason had its colors inverted, which they refer to as photo negative or opposite Mickey in most retellings. And it goes, "Hey, do you want to see my head come off?" And then it takes its head off, and there's blood and gore, and he gets super, super spooked and runs away. And then the sign that says "Abandoned by Disney" is accompanied by a sign that says "Abandoned by God." And yeah, it's dumb. I also do not understand why this one caught on as much as it did. It's really bad, and it's way longer than it should be. It drags so much to get to the point. Most people won't even read the full thing because it's kind of bad. So now we're kind of on to like the honorable mentions bits of this, which I have to say, like, Pokemon has never once had a good creepypasta. The most popular one, I would say, is...
I'm kind of inclined to agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Like, the most popular one is probably Lavender Town Syndrome, because, like, at least it's kind of like... It's at least an interesting idea. It's way more interesting than most of them, which is like, oh no, I caught an unknown and it flipped me off and started bleeding hyper-realistic blood. I assumed this was a glitch and continued playing the game. Which is how most of them go.
And then the unknown, spelled out that, your mom doesn't love you and that you're, God himself thinks that you are a mistake. And I was like, it's probably a coincidence.
It's spelled out, mom.
It's probably a coincidence. And then it spelled out her dad. And I was like, whoa, no.
So
Oh, I miss him.
Like,
he went out for Milm and he never came back.
We were talking about it before we started recording tonight, and the one that probably has any merit at all is probably Hypno's Lullaby, because it has like this kind of Pied Piper-esque storytelling.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you ever hear that one? That one's on YouTube last
I knew of. I don't think I've heard the full thing front to back, but honestly, I like the idea behind it because it kind of like it basically is kind of the kind of horror that fits in the canon of what we already understand.
Not for nothing, Hypno is kind of terrifying if you think about it more than like 5 seconds.
It is. Hypno, as psychic types go, is especially unnerving. Though it has some contenders nowadays.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a Baku.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean...
And
it puts you to sleep, and then it's your nightmares.
It's like, that's kind of just unnerving just on its face, Yeah. And like, even saying that, it's like, Pokemon is not fertile grounds for horror. Because we have the unreliable narrator that is a 10-year-old writing the encyclopedia. And the Pokemon world is the same problem that Sonic has. You can't make it scary because it's based around being cute. The scariest thing was running into a Graveler at Mount Coronet and it exploding before you could run away.
And then he does it 6 more times. And he starts yelling about Aloha snack bars. And you're like, oh, no!
So I waited till we're like 2 hours into this because this one's going to make some people mad. Because this one, I have really mixed feelings on it, and it kind of depends on what leg of the story you're talking about. Which is the Ben Drowned / Haunted Majora's Mask Legend of Zelda creepypasta. Now, before you run to the comments to verbally eviscerate me, let me explain. The original story arc, the bit that he posted on 4chan's X board, and the bit that followed up with the Moon Children website was brilliantly executed. It utilized some features that YouTube doesn't even have anymore to tell a really interesting story using the framework of the game. He sets up the rules, he explains to you, these symbols are good, these symbols are bad, and he doesn't have to use hyper-realism or gore effects. He just uses the art assets the game already has and some cheat codes to make the story come to life. It's actually a brilliant execution. He just used an emulator and some Game Shark codes.
Yeah, for what it's worth, this is probably helped by the fact that the N64 already is kind of hot garbage. We talked about it earlier in the week. We called it at best, you could get a voxelated mess, I believe, was our summation.
Yeah, basically.
So, you know what? I'm going to be right there with the professor, ripping my shirt. Cast your stones and arrows in greater internet. I don't, go ahead and boo. I've seen what makes you cheer, as the Rick and Morty quote goes, I believe.
Yeah. So here's the thing. The first legs of the story are really good. He does a great job setting the scene. he doesn't have to rely on jump scares or hyper-realistic blood or any of the other stupid things that these other creepypastas have relied upon. He does a slow, methodical job tying into the themes and mechanics of the game to tell the story. The original story was told over the course of 3 days, ending in essentially a time loop to begin the ARG portion of the story. That is masterful. Well done, sir. Well done. Now, everything kind of falls apart immediately afterwards. Because after that first leg of things, there was kind of like the whole thing about the Moon Children and this cult. That part was good, but the next major story arc, he basically gave the game over to some other guy, and he apparently just didn't have the author's Bible or something, because some of what he says is a little contradictory or a little unclear. And like the guy's trying, the guy's trying to tell a good story too, but he's clearly not equipped or just not very good at storytelling. And this was all sanctioned by the game's master, Deducible. And then he retroactively called it a game jack moment and retconned it out of the story. And then the story just died. It just stopped. And there was like talks about like Clive Barker was going to make a movie based on it, and then that didn't happen. There was going to be like some kind of TV series or something. That didn't happen. There was like all this stuff that just kept coming up and getting shot down over and over and over again. So for years, actual years, people were like, okay, it's dead in the water. A college student kind of ran into the scope of his project bloating, and he wasn't able to deliver on what it is he wanted to do. Because one of the things, the most interesting idea he put forward is there was going to be a game. He was going to make a game, and you would play the game in the role of someone who was investigating this whole deal with the Moon Children. And when people hit kind of like collective milestones and saw the experience within the context of the game would have like a couple different chapters culminating in the finality of the story. Didn't happen. We didn't get it. So everything just kind of stops. The world goes on. YouTube updates in such a way that kind of following some of the legwork of the game becomes impossible, because one of the things you could do in early YouTube was video replies. You could literally link a video in the same fashion as a comment, and you could have like a thread of videos, which was essential to playing the game when it first happened. And another thing I want to kind of point out, as this is important to the story, there was a forum that had a bunch of tryhards in it. They were kind of acting edgy and vaguely mysterious, like they knew something that we didn't. And he kind of brought the hammer down on them and was like, you don't know anything that like anyone else does not have immediate access to. All information is public, all of it's free, all of it's accessible. Stop pretending like you know something special, because you don't. So he says that. Okay, put a pin in that. That's going to be important here in a second. Years pass. He announces, hey, we're back. We're going to finish the story. People who have been following the project, people who were friends of people following the project, start pouring back in. People are hyped. People are pumped. They want to see this really intriguing, interesting story finalized. So, what do we get? Well, we get this YouTube video of a first-person view in a hotel. And you're like, okay, well, what's the relevance of that? Well, there isn't any. And there's a bunch of items in the hotel room. And a couple of them seem to have immediately obvious utility, and there's a couple that are very clearly like, these would not do anything. And the character is instructed by the comment section to pick, I believe, 2 or 3 items and proceed through the hotel. And like immediately they get jump scared by some dude in a mask. And we're then moved to a different hotel room where our option is to basically pick up where the last one left off, or to sit down and play the N64 with the haunted cartridge. The comments section unilaterally went with just play the game, because that makes more sense anyway. Mm-hmm. And like everyone, like there was a lot of people who were just like, what's going on? why are we basically not having any meaningful feedback on any of our decisions? Well, it turns out there was a Discord server. I don't know if it's still there or not, and honestly, it's besides the point because the game is finished now. And all that talk about not having special access to information, well, it turns out they had access to special information that made the hotel its own minigame. And so, in direct contradiction to everything that we had been given up to this point, there were a privileged sect of people who knew more than others. And the hotel basically ran us into such a hard dead end that everyone wanted to throw the handbrake on it and not deal with it again. So, we start playing the game, and we start seeing some context from the early videos we didn't get before. And I just want to say, we're 2 hours into this, so I can get away with saying this now. Fuck all y'all in the original you shouldn't have done that.com forums. I was right, and you were wrong. Okay? I went on there, and this is a deep cut for the lore. There were several moon children whose profiles you could access on the original website. Some of them were dead, and some of them were alive. The ones who were dead had their method of death listed. And we learn that Ben, the vengeful ghost in the cartridge, had a beef with the Moon Children because he bought into their ideals, and when he went to his ascension, aka the point where he moves to Brazil, his was a botch, and things went wrong. One of them, Kelbrus, was specifically said he was electrocuted to death. And I said, wait a minute. If he was electrocuted to death, it is entirely possible that he entered into the same system, that he entered into some wires in some fashion or another, and was in the cartridge as well. And there were no fewer than 5 or 7 people who came out with, no, that's dumb. That can't be right. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happened. So suck it. I know it's years late, but I was right. I was right the whole time.
Oof.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, we have just witnessed the birth of Sassy Snek.
yes,
Dark
yes, we
willpower,
have.
Sassy Snek.
We have. So here's the thing. We see some context we didn't have before. It doesn't really change anything other than kind of like our comprehension of the series of events as they occurred. Then, main character Kun gets the Fierce Deity mask, which is basically the Boss Buster mask. If you have it, it basically lets you take on a form akin to Adult Link from Ocarina of Time, because you play as Kid Link, the totality of Majora's Mask. And it gives you, like, super mode, basically, and lets you trivialize the game. He gets it.
Yeah, but isn't it really difficult to get, though? That's the entire thing.
You have to undergo some of the longest and most difficult side quests in the game and basically collect every mask in the game in order to get it. It is quite complicated. I've done the process myself. But once you get it, every boss basically becomes a joke. And what happens from then on for the rest of the story is a shonen battle anime. It's no longer a creepypasta. It's a generic, slightly modded, boss rush experience of Majora's Mask, where there's a couple moments of quote-unquote tension completely undone by the fact that it's just a shonen battle anime. And not even a particularly compelling one, because I'm like, we have undergone that moment, and I don't know, there should be a term for it. I don't know if there is one, but this has happened before. It happened in Outlast. It happened in Clock Tower 3, where you go from a horror game where you are largely on the defensive, and suddenly there's this last moment thing that happens, and you get magic powers, and suddenly you're just playing another, dime a dozen action game. There's got to be a word for it. I don't know what it is, but that's exactly what happened in the Haunted Majora's Mask cartridge story. And
that's kind of the way it is in PlanetSide 2, too. Like the last bit of the game, the entire time, it's like this survival horror where you're trying to save your heat, you're trying to save your, which acts like a fuel for your various machines or your weapons. And you're trying to, to maintain your resources because you're basically alone on the ruins of this planet.
Meanwhile, there are prospectors and scavengers who are trying to kill you, in addition to the wildlife of the planet. Last bit, you get your dad's mecha, and then suddenly it basically becomes Zone of the Enders. It's no longer a survival horror. It literally is just you flying around, like doing cool tricks and slicing enemies with your lightsaber, basically.
Yeah. And that's what
Yeah.
happens. And you take this really interesting, well-paced game where everyone had access to the information and you basically just dumped it all out and you ruined everything. It would have been better had the story not been finished. Like, that's how bad this ending is.
Yeah, that sounds kind of bad.
It was super frustrating because I was one of those diehard fans. When I heard that the story was back on, I was all for it. I was watching with great interest, wondering which direction our detective skills would take us. And then they didn't take us anywhere because there was nowhere to go. Like, absolute utter fail. Okay, now if you are still mad at me after me explaining my side of the story, go to the comments, verbally eviscerate me. Have a ball. But that's my feelings on the matter.
Wow. I mean, I knew you didn't like it, but I didn't realize it was that deep of a dislike.
Like,
wow.
It was so frustrating because the first leg of things was so good. Like, dude, it was genuinely excellent horror writing. It elevated Creepypasta to something that could be argued to be more than the medium as a whole had really seen up to that point. It was exciting. It was cool to be a part of it. And he did some really clever story writing where he basically was like, there are certain characters in the story you could save and ones if you could also have them die. But the story could still happen even if you lost certain characters. So like you could make mistakes and still get to the goal. And that happened because like one of the clips on his early channel was Rosa, the Malkavian from Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. And her dialogue actually became a huge story beat. And it actually became kind of vital in finding some of the people that were relevant to the story. Stuff like that.
My.
So,
you know, I'm sorry, Ben Drown Dev. I didn't know your game. You're into hot, crazy goth GFs. I understand.
Yeah. So like it is a mixed bag experience because what we had in that first leg of things was great. I believe his name was Ryukaki was his screen name, was like his stuff was kind of interesting and it seemed like it was all tying together and there was kind of this meme because like during one of his videos his bike went missing and so the whole joke was like Ben was haunting them so they could steal Ryukaki's bike and like that would be the big reveal. Was the bike unified the story, and then it's like, oh well, it's a game jack. It's like you gave him the keys. You did that. You deliberately did that. I don't know what you were expecting at that point. So like,
yeah, it honestly seems like he had a very specific vision, and it seemed like he just didn't know.
Yeah,
he was like, you're being too silly, and it's like, yeah,
like. But the thing is, Ryukaki's stuff was still pretty good. Like, there was some different things introduced. I don't 100% remember everything. Like, there was one of his first videos, like, he was looking around his house during a power outage, and, like, on the camera, there are these two glowing lights that look a lot like eyes, but he's like, oh, nothing was there when I was actually filming this. That only showed up on camera. So, like, there was kind of this intrigue plot. It was like, oh, okay, like, all right, you're seeing stuff through the camera that you're not seeing with your eyes. So we all kind of thought that was going somewhere, and then it just, like, didn't. So, yeah. I'll stop ribbing on it now. Because honestly, creepypastas are fun. And there are some good ones. There are, like, a lot of good ones, but you gotta kind of invoke Sturgeon's Law here, people. 90% of everything is crap. That's just how it is. So... we hope that you enjoyed this epic reading of Sonic.exe and our not-so-brief overviews of several other very famous and popular creepypasta stories. If there was any you'd want us to have a look at in the future, leave them down in the comments below. We'd be curious to know what your favorites are. A personal recommendation for me is Mr. Widemouth. It's a really, really good story, and it won't take up much of your time. Really, really fun story. And Mr. Ditaku, your final thoughts.
I feel like I didn't contribute as much as I thought I would. I apparently have not as knowledgeable on the broader scope of creepypastas as I thought I was. So mea culpa on that one.
Yeah, man. I mean, we all have our specialties, and that's okay. So if you at home are still listening, please do that like, comment, subscribe combo that we love so very, very much. And please let us know this episode was worth it, because I have 2 hours and 30 minutes of raw footage for me to comb through and cut down and make this episode somewhat digestible. So please make it worth it to us and click the like button. It helps us out a lot. Anyway, this has been the Tomodachi Bros, bringing you the Tomodachi Bros podcast, and we will see you next time.